Hey guys, it's Smudge here, and today we're looking at something different. I say that quite a lot on this channel, don't I? But yeah, this is something very, very different. Now, a few days ago, I was looking through the Steam store just for something a bit different. Because every now and then, I just fancy a change from the norm. And I came across this, which is Fishing Planet. Now, I've enjoyed fishing games in the past. I used to play like a real fishing on the Dreamcast, and I had the rod. That was a lot of fun. Like Sega Bass Fishing and a few other games like that. And it's something I kind of enjoy. And you might be thinking, what? But yeah, fishing games are, it's just something you can kind of chill out and do. So I saw this on there, and it's a free game, and I'm probably going to be saying that a lot through this video. This is a free game. And I thought, well, sod it, I'm not really going to lose anything. So I just downloaded it, and I thought, well, I'll give it a go. I'll give it 10 minutes, and we'll see what it's like. And I played for 10 hours solid, and it was 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, Christ, I've really got to go to bed. And since then, I can't stop playing it. I can't put it down. And it's not a fishing game, it's a fishing simulator. And it really is that, and it does an amazing job of it. Now, this is the starting screen. Settings wise, there's a few settings there. You can change your resolution, some anti-aliasing, dynamic water, some other options there. I've turned the music volume down because YouTube hates music, and I'm probably going to end up getting copyright bans and all that type of stuff if you ever turn that on, so we'll ignore that. And then we hit play, and then it comes up saying loading for a long time because daily bonus, and it gives me some cash. Nice. Right, so yeah, I've been playing this a few days now. Well, 6 days I think that was that I've been playing this now, and I'm really quite enjoying it. Now, this is the main screen. This is the first screen that you come to when you log in, and you've got these widgets up top. Now, a lot of this is still very early alpha. This is an early release game, but it is free to play. So again, you can't really complain. You're getting it for nothing. But there's still a hell of a lot of content in this. Now, Mudwater River, this is the place where you first start out. And as you can see, this is kind of like the fishing area where you go. You've got weather, and as you go to different places, they have different weather like rain, sun, cloud, and rain, and things like this. And all of these different places have different type of fish that you can fish. Does that make sense? I don't know. Anyways, but in this place, you've got crappie. Yep, crappie, you heard right. Panfish. You've got catfish. You've got pike and bass. And all of these fish kind of inhabit the lake where you fish, and they all kind of have different requirements in order to catch them. You need to use different baits and different lures, but we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, one thing that is interesting, if you look down here, you've got travel cost, and as you increase the amount of days of fishing, it increases the total cost in order to play. I guess this is kind of part of the free-to-play element, is that you need cash in order to kind of go fishing. Now, by fishing, you earn cash. And if you have a good day, then you can earn more cash than what it costs you to go fishing. So that's kind of, that's how that generally all works there. And then in different places, you've got different fish. But as you travel to different places, it also costs more to go traveling. And when you first start out, the only place that you have unlocked is Mudwater River in Missouri, which is your home state. Now, when we go to the home screen, this is your loadout. Now, like I said, I've been playing this for a few days now. I've got a few hours in this game of kind of fishing time, so I've unlocked a few bits and pieces. And all of this stuff you can unlock just through gameplay. There are certain things in the store that you can buy for real money, but a lot of the stuff you can get just through the grind, and you can often earn better stuff just by grinding past the pay for stuff, as is the same with a lot of free-to-play games. Now, this is kind of my setup. This is your backpack, which is this bag thing that you've got down here. You have varying different types of hooks. Now, with the hash one, that's the biggest hook, and it goes up to hash 10, which is the smallest hook. And then you've got #1/0, which is a different type of hook set, but that's the smaller one. And then you got #2/0, which is slightly bigger, and then that goes up to hash, I think 3 or 4/0, which is the biggest kind of hook you can get in the game, but they're all for different types of fish. Now, with the hooks, certain types of fish, or depending on the size of the fish, let's say, depends on what hook they'll bite onto. Because if the hook's too big, the fish can't bite it. The fish can't kind of get its mouth around it. But if the hook's too small, then the fish will eat the bait and the hook will just slide out because it's not big enough in order to get the fish. So, that's kind of interesting. That part is like, well, I'm going after this fish, what type of hook's best? But all this kind of comes with experience. Then you've got lines, and you have different types of line, and they have different diameters and different strengths, or different test. So as you can see, like this is my smallest line, which has got a very, very small diameter, but it has only a test of 2 pounds. So if I catch a fish that's 3 pounds, the chances are, if I'm not very careful, that line will snap. Now, as the test goes up, the line gets thicker. But you'd be thinking, well, why not just take the thickest line with the most strength? And this comes down to another kind of part of the simulation or the gameplay in this game, in that the thicker the line, there's more chance that the fish will see it. And fish become like line wary. So if you have a piece of bait or a lure in the water that's attached to a really thick piece of string, the fish are going to see that string and say, nah, I don't like this, I'm not going to hook onto that, I'm not going to bite it. But if you've got like a really thin or really kind of clear line that the fish can't see, they'll think, ooh, food, and then they'll go eat it, and then you catch your fish, and away you go. And then you've got your different types of baits, which I've unlocked down here. Now there's 2 real types of fishing in this, I suppose. You've got bait fishing with a float, so you attach like corn or cheese. I think I've got cheese, small cut baits. I think I've got more down here. Yeah, you've got like cheese, bread, dough balls, all this type of good stuff, red worms that you can attach onto your hook, throw it in, and that lures or attracts different types of fish that then attach to the hook, and then you pull them in. And different types of bait have different costs, but they also attract different types of fish. And it tells you there. So like cheese attracts bluegill, trout, catfish, etc. And dough balls are attached crappie bluegill, pumpkin seed, and carp. So these different types of baits attract different types of fish, and it's the same with the lures. Now, mainly with the lures, if we go to the ones I use a lot, I like using spoons and flies, or bass jigs, and you get different colours. You've got gold ones, and then you've got silver ones, and you might be thinking, well, what's the difference? Well, I did a lot of reading on this, because there is quite a lot in depth to this. In muddy and murky waters, it's better to use a dark jig, or like a bronze or gold spoon, because they kind of stand out more in the murky waters rather than the silver. And fish go for those in murky waters, apparently. But if you're fishing in overcast or cloudy days, then you use a gold spoon to attract fish. If it's sunny or very bright or clear waters, you use a silver spoon or a silver jig, and then that reflects the sunlight, which then attracts the fish. And then there's more chance of getting a bite from a bigger fish, if you use the right lure in the right kind of conditions, if you understand. And then you've got jig heads, which I've actually got on my rod here, with different types of lures, but they're mainly for kind of like bigger bass, trout, and pike. And I do enjoy pike fishing because they're quite funky fish to go for. And then there's different types of rods. You've got telescopic rods, which I don't actually have. Have I got one here? Yeah. This is the rod that you first start out with, which is a telescopic rod, which is just for bait or float fishing. And then I've actually upgraded to a match rod, which is very much the same. It does the same job, and it comes with a standard reel. You've got casting rods, which come with a reel, but with these ones you mainly do like lure fishing with, for things like bass and different like bigger fish like that. And then one thing I've been trying to get my head around is No, sorry, that's spinning rod, not casting rod. This is the casting rod here, which comes with a much bigger reel, and they have much bigger weight tolerances, so therefore like much bigger fish. But it takes a bit more skill in order to kind of get the lure to behave like you want it to in order to attract the fish. So let's have a look on that. I might actually stick that on there with my mini spin 1200. So on the moment, because of the bag I've got, I can take up to 4 rods and different bits and pieces. So I'll just kind of set myself up there. Can I put those in there? Will that fit? Yeah, I can stick those in. So just loading up my bag here ready for a fishing trip as well. Now after this you've got the store, and this is where you buy kind of everything that you need in the game, and you can have a look at the different rods that are available and the different prices, and again you can break this down into spinning rods or casting rods, telescopic rods and match rods, and all of these have different kind of lure weights, line power, which is kind of how much you put through the reel, efficient line weight for the rod. So it's all about using the right equipment for the type of fish that you want to get. Then you have your different types of reels, whether they're like casting reels like these, or you've got spinning reels, and then reels that you can use with your like bait and float fishing. God. And then you've got your line store where you can buy different types of lines. Now some of these are grayed out, which means that I don't have the experience yet to buy this type of line, and you know kind of what you can buy by the star. So here, as you can see, that's star 9. Now I'm level 8, so I need to be level 9 in order to buy that type of line, and it's the same all throughout the store. So as you kind of gain experience, you can unlock more stuff to buy. You know, and I'm sure that with this being an early access, there will be more stuff that they'll add later on. Now, this is something that you need to get first, or something that you do get first after you've passed a tutorial, is a line stringer. And the line stringer determines on what weight the fish you can keep and how many fish you can keep on a fishing day. Now, there's 2 types. You've got a line stringer, and then later on you get a fishing net. Now the fishing net, it works different to a stringer. With a stringer, when you've caught a fish and you attach it on there, you can't release the fish because it tells you that it damages the fish, so you have to keep it instead of releasing it. And then with the fishing nets, it actually gives you the option of releasing the fish. So if you catch a few small fish and then you start catching bigger fish, you can choose to release the small fish in order to make room for bigger fish in the net. But with the stringer, if you decide to keep a small fish, that's it, it's yours. It's taken up part of your weight allowance. Then you have your fishing bags, which determine how many rods you can take. And then you have jackets, which again determines how many lines and tackles and things like that you can take with you into the game. And as you level up, you get to unlock more equipment, or you can spend a few of those like gold coins in order to buy stuff. Now, if you earn achievements in the game, you actually earn gold, which you can use to buy this equipment anyway. So I've not put any money into this yet, but I am considering it because it's a game I enjoy. And you know, if it's a game I enjoy and it's free to play, I don't mind spending a little bit of money on it just to kind of support the development of the game, and I think that's fair, you know. And I enjoy games, you know, that do that sort of thing, like War Thunder. You know, it's a free-to-play game, but you've got the option there of giving them money if you want to. You know, it's not a requirement, but the option's there if you want to support the game. Then going up, you have the different types of tackles and hooks and things like this, and then the million different types of lures that you can all get. In fact, there's pages and pages and pages of different types of lures here, and a lot of them I'm yet to unlock. But they all fish differently, and they all attract different fish. And then you've got your different types of baits, everything from large cut baits, maggots, to different like marshmallows. I don't know why a fish would want to eat a marshmallow, but fair enough. Apparently catfish and carp and bluegill and things like that like marshmallows, but you know, why not? Marshmallows are nice. And then you've got licenses. Now, one thing I did is that I bought myself an advanced Missouri license. after just a couple of days fishing, I earned enough money to get that, and with an unlimited license, it means that I can fish kind of as much as I want, in Missouri, sort of thing. So yeah, that's what I went for there, just simply because I could. And then you've got your profile, and this kind of shows the rewards that I've got while I've been fishing. I've got a few of them now. I've still got quite a few to unlock, and then it shows the type of trophy fish that you get. Now, when you're fishing, there is several different types of fish you can get. You get standard or young fish is the first one, which are very small. You get your common fish. You then get trophy fish and unique fish. And trophy fish and unique fish earn you much more XP and money when you catch them. But generally, they're very big and they're quite hard to catch. It takes a bit of work in order to do that. And I guess in the future we're going to be seeing tournaments and quests and things like catch so many fish in order to earn stuff, which again is all part of the coming soon. But there is a leaderboard on here of the top 100 players. I don't think I'm anywhere near that. And the top fish like caught. I think I should go to muddy water and catfish. I actually got a giant 6,800 pound catfish, which did put me on a leaderboard for a little while, but it looks like a lot of people have started catching 7 pound fish, so that's kind of knocked me down off there, but never mind. So what we'll do now is that we'll go do a day's fishing, and then we'll kind of show what this is like. So now this is the weather for the next 5-day forecast, which is brilliant, and this changes. It actually progresses, so it kind of randomizes what the next 5 days are going to look like. Now, I like fishing on sunny days because it's good for catching bass, but on the cloudy days it is good for like catfish and pike, and you can still get bass, but you need to use different types of lures and different methods. So let's go do some fishing. So we're traveling there now, and then what we'll do is that we'll look at the different types of fishing and using the different types of baits and lures. So this is just loading again. Now, this is a permanently online game, but it's not multiplayer as such yet. I don't know if that's a feature that will be added, possibly. I don't know. I've not really read that much into it. But when you go into the lake, when you start fishing, you're on your own. There's nobody else around, but there is a chat box. So you can chat to the other people that are fishing at that lake at that time, and it also gives you kind of information on what sort of fish people are catching, and it's good in that way because you can still kind of mix with people. Or chat to people while you're fishing, and you can kind of share experiences, and people will often come in, and I might actually go through kind of like the top couple of questions that people ask when they first come in, like, ooh, how do I do this, where do I get that, what do I do? So when we get in there, we'll start talking about that sort of type of stuff. So as you can see in this part, we've got 2 places we can fish, or 2 banks we can fish on this piece of river. You've got your 5-day forecast here. And then underneath you've got this graph which shows the fish activity through the day. So at the moment it's a cloudy kind of overcast day, so there's kind of medium fish activity through the morning, but as you go into the afternoon, fish activity increases and then it starts trailing off again in the evening. So the optimal time to start fishing is probably about 11-12 o'clock as you get around here, and then you've got a few hours to fish at sort of like peak time. Now on sunny days, as you can see, it's much more extreme. Because of the water temperature and I guess light and things like that, fish are more active in the morning and in the evening, but there's very little activity in the afternoon, because I guess with water temperatures and things like that, fish just kind of generally go into hiding in amongst the reeds, and they don't really come out to play. So that's a kind of a good tip there. So I mean, you could fish all day long if you like, and you will still catch fish through these periods, but there's more chance of you catching fish more regularly through the afternoon. So through this part, you've got your backpack here, which you can set up your lines and what you want to do with your fishing. And then you've got a basic store here. Now, it is like the store from when you're at home, but there is much less that you can buy when you're actually on the fishing grounds. And really, this is just for kind of, if you start getting snags and losing lures or baits, or if you forget to bring something, it gives you the choice of just buying some basic types of baits, so that you don't ruin your fishing day. Oops, no, we don't want to leave, so we'll go back to the map. I'm going to start from this point first, because around this area you've got some bass, but you've also got catfish, so this point is good for bait fishing with floats, and also some fly fishing for bass. And this point of the river here I found is very good for bass and pike, but the float fishing around here is a bit hit and miss, so we'll start in this place first, and then we'll go fishing, and then we'll wait for this to load in again. Right, so here we go, we're in, and as you can see in the bottom left hand side there you've got your chat box, and there's 20 people in chat at the moment, so with that you just hit tab, that brings up the chat box, and you can type hello, and then some people will say hello and they'll start chatting away to there. Now as you can see I'm not holding a rod at the moment, but as we go closer to the water we do, and then with using the keys from 1 to 4 you can select the rods that you want to bring in, and they all have your different types of rods and things that you've set up previously. Now at the moment this is on my float and bait. As you can see I've got small cut bait on a 6 hook. Now if you press F1, actually I'll just bring this up here, this brings your list of controls so you can kind of see what you've got there. Now the most important ones there are drag settings, and also if you can see it there, you've got your leader length. Yeah, so you've got leader length, which is O and P, and then the drag settings, which are the plus and minus keys. And then also if you look at pitch on and off on 11, that's quite an important one as well. So at the moment with this rod I'm set up into casting mode. Now if I hit F11 I go into sort of like an underhand flick mode. So I'll just actually turn off the chat box there. So with this mode, this is for kind of short range in casting. So if you just click that there, it just kind of flicks the rod out and then you do a short range cast. Now you can just reel out a little bit of line and then you can just kind of wait. Now in the water occasionally you'll see little kind of ripples. I might not see it this early. There was one just over there actually. I don't know how well you're going to see that on YouTube, but you'll see little ripples in the water which are signs of a possible fish or something kind of under the water. And if you get your float near there, then there's a fair chance that you might start getting nibbles or a bite. But we'll just bring this in here. Now another thing is leader length. And using the wrong key. If we use the P and I keys, sorry, P and O, yeah, P and O. There you go. You can change your leader length, and it goes from 99 inches, which is full length, all the way down to about 10 inches. And then what that does, it changes the amount of line from the floater to the hook, and different fish kind of swim at different depths, or to feed at different depths. So things like panfish and crappie and bluegill, they'll swim nearer to the surface. So if you want to catch panfish, you'll generally kind of leave your leader about 20 inches. Now, it's also balanced to do with the depth of the water underneath. So if you're fishing quite close into the shore, you want a short leader so that the bait isn't sitting on the bottom and then the floater doesn't float. So watch, if I go to a 99-inch leader and then I cast out quite short, you'll see that the float just lies down because the bait's sitting on the bottom. There's too much string between the kind of the hook and the floater, so the floater's not doing its job. So if you're casting close into the shore, all you need to do there is just shorten off your leader. Now, as you start going further out, if you want to gain catfish, which is a very good fish to go for in the beginning because they're quite a big fish and you have good experience for catching them, what you want is a very long leader, so like a 99 leader with the right bait. And then to cast out further, you hit F11, it puts you into casting mode. And then with that, you just press and release, and then you throw out your float. So I've actually kind of thrown it almost clear across the lake there. And then if I bring that in just a little bit further, actually, because I cast that out just a bit too far. and you can change your casting, sorry, your scrolling speed. Sorry, the scroll wheel changes the reeling speed. So as you can see in the bottom right hand corner there, you've got your reeling speed, so you can reel out, reel in slow, medium, fast, and then very fast. And then next to that you've got which is the drag settings. Now what the drag settings are, this is very important. On your reel you have a brake, and then when fish start pulling, when they start pulling to a certain weight, the brake starts releasing and it will start letting out line, and this is to stop the line from getting broken. So if your line weight is less than your is more than your reel weight, you can use that brake in order to stop the line from snapping, because it'll let the line out at a certain weight, which is very, very handy. And then to the right hand side of that, to the right of the 79 there, you've got the like a pressure bar, and that shows how much weight is being put on the line at that time. And then above that you've got your float diagram, which shows kind of what's going on with the float, and you can watch that. So at the moment it's starting to bob up and down a little bit, which means that there might be a fish having a little bit of a nibble of our bait. Now if you want to, you can actually turn all of this off, and then you can go like full stimulator mode, and then you kind of have to pay attention to the bob in the water. And this is like hardcore mode. You know, if you don't want, you know, if you want to do this all yourself, you can do that. Or you can turn everything back on there, and then, you know, it kind of gives you a bit more information on what's going on with the fish in the area. So this is kind of like the waiting part. So we've cast out our bait there on a float, and we're just waiting for a fish to kind of take some interest in it. And occasionally you'll see it jig, you'll see it kind of move about a bit, and it's starting to flick about a bit there, which could be due to the line, because with the water as you can see is taking the line, and that's also dragging the float. So if you actually let off some more line here, you'll see that the float actually kind of steadies out because it's not being dragged by the line. So you might see some shaking on the float, but that's more than likely just due to the influence of water on the line. So I'll just like straighten that up a little bit, just let out a little bit there. And then at this point, now this is kind of where starting to get a little bit more action on the float arrows. Yeah, that's just down to the string. So just over there, you probably can't see it on YouTube because of the compression, but there's lily pads just around where my float is there, and then I often catch catfish around there, especially early mornings and things like that. So that's kind of where I mostly kind of cast out to and kind of sit and wait, you know. But some people might find this incredibly boring. They might not enjoy this part of it, but it can get quite tense as well. And when you start getting bites on the hook and on the lure, there's certain things that you need to do, otherwise you'll lose the fish. So normally when the hook starts taking bites, it starts doing what it's doing now, and it starts flicking backs and forwards, and then it might start vibrating a bit, and then it'll kind of like shoot off quite quickly, but then you only have a few seconds to strike or to pull the rod hard in order to engage the hook in the fish's mouth. If you don't do that, then the chances are that the fish will just escape. So there could be something going on there, or it could just be the bait kind of rolling along the bottom of the lake there, which is causing it to move about. In fact, I think that's maybe kind of what it is there. So I'll let off a little more string that it's kind of stopped twitching, stopped moving there. So I'll just bring that in a little bit. I don't think much is happening here at the moment, so what I'll do, I'll bring this in. I might advance time up to the afternoon so there's a bit more fish activity, and then we'll give this another go. So in order to advance time, what you do is that you hit the T key to fast forward time. So we might advance it up to about 11 o'clock, so I think that's about 6 hours, 6 hours, and then we'll advance time, just so there's a bit more kind of fish activity. And there we go, so that's 11 o'clock. Now as you can see, with a bit more light, you can start to see the lily pads I was talking about just out there. So I'll just cast out there, about half power should land me straight on it, and it has, fantastic. Just let out a bit more line just to take the pressure off the float for a little while. And then hopefully it shouldn't take too long for us to get a few nibbles. And at this point, this is where you can bring up the chat box and you can have a look through using the page up and page down keys, and you generally get a lot of people in there kind of asking for help, like what's best for this, what's best for that, you know, where are you catching these fish, and you can also have a look to see what type of fish people are catching at the moment, you know, if they're big fish, small fish, and if you see someone catch like a big fish, you can turn to them and say, look, you know, where did you get that, you know, that's awesome, good job, well done, and you know, there is a lot of that in that, you know, there's a lot of kind of sort of like friendship in a way, I suppose, you know, that you do get a few trolls, but I guess that you get that with any sort of online game. I guess it's kind of inevitable. So yeah, we're just bring that in just a little further there. Snagged. There we go, just pop that out of there, so that's fine. So that was a snag there. As you can see, it comes up saying that I've got a snag, but I pulled that through the lily pads and the reeds over there, so the hook just got snagged on a reed, but I give it a quick shove, a quick pull, and then that popped the line straight out of the snag there, so crisis averted. But with like lower weight lines and things like that, sometimes you'll get a snag and it's just impossible to get out of, so you have to kind of cut the line and lose your tackle in your line, so that really sucks. So yeah, this is fishing, and I tell you, you might not think it, but you can kind of lose hours to doing this just sat here waiting. Now with float fishing, I guess this is possibly one of the least involved type of fishing methods, because it is just kind of throw it in and wait. But it is about kind of setting the line up properly, using the right type of line with the right type of weight and things like that. So yeah, but with the fly fishing, which we'll go into in a minute, possibly, that's much more involved. It takes a lot more skill in order to do the, not fly fishing, sorry, lure fishing. I don't know if they will bring fly fishing into this. I hope that they do, because that is quite a fun form of fishing. Yeah. Normally it doesn't take this long to catch a fish. It's probably because I'm recording. But yeah, that's fishing. And I suppose it is just about someone asking now, how do I catch a fish that's twitching when using a spoon lure? That's a very odd question. Now, one thing I will go into in a little bit is kind of different types of lure fishing, because you can make a lure do different types of things, and that affects kind of how fish are attracted to it. I seem to be getting a little bit of motion there on the float. I don't know if there's something maybe sniffing around the bait. So it could be any second now that we might get something, but I guess that's part of the appeal of this, is just the anticipation of getting that bite. And again, some people might be thinking, you know, Jesus, you know, this is as fun as watching wallpaper paint dry, or watching paint dry. What am I on about? Yeah, this is just about as fun as watching paint dry, but some people might be watching this and think, yeah, you know, that's pretty quite cool. And one thing with this as well is that the graphics are absolutely superb, and it is quite atmospheric. Let's pull that in away. In fact, what it could be, I think that the line I've got on this could actually be a bit too thick. So let's have a look at my setup here. So if you're not getting anything that quickly, then there could be something wrong. So let's have a look. So I've got 2 gauge on there, which might actually be too thick. So I might knock that down to a slightly thinner line. And what hook? I might put a 6 hook on there, so that's slightly smaller. Now I know that the bait is good. I often catch good catfish with that sort of bait. So yeah. Oh, one thing as well, if you right click, it gives you a aiming marker for your casting, and also like a power to use. So I might stick it about there, and then we'll cast out there. So there we go. That's just about where I wanted it, and then we'll let out a bit more line, and then we'll just sit here and wait. I'm determined to catch a fish here. I really am. What I might do is actually stick up a time index, like in the top left-hand corner, like now, of when I catch a fish. So I'll do that in post. I'll try and stick up a time index of when the fish actually bites, so that rather than kind of sat here just watching a bobbing up and down, you can see what's going on there. Oh, excuse me, just having a drink. But yeah, this is kind of why I spent 10 hours playing this for the first the first day, because a lot of it is just it's just kind of waiting around, really, you know, waiting for something to happen. Definitely starting to get a bit more twitchiness on there, but it could be just the bait in the reeds there. Not much happening there, kind of catfish-wise today. Yep, it's snagged. So I'll just pop that out of there. That line broke. There we go. So, yeah, so there I lost my hook and my bait because the line broke. It got caught in the reeds. So what I'll do is that we'll leave that one there, and then I might actually kind of switch to my casting rod, which I think is on 3, and then with this we'll go see if we can do some bass fishing. So I'm actually going to use a lure first, and I think I've got the right lure on this. What have I got there? So this is on 2. So on this I've got a dark lure because it's cloudy. I've got the maximum type of line I think I can have on it. Yeah, it says there's so with that line it's too strong for the reel, so there's a chance I could damage my reel, so I think that 1.8mm is the biggest I can put on this reel I've got on this rod here. So what we'll do is that we'll do a little bit of casting here, and we'll talk about kind of controlling the lure. So we'll cast out over there towards the reeds because that's where bass like to sit, and then we cast out. Now with a lure, as you can see, you get a different icon at the bottom. So at the moment, the lure that we have there is just sat on the bottom of the riverbed, and it's not kind of doing anything. It's not attracting any fish. There's no chance of us getting any sort of bites on this. So what we have to do is start reeling this in, and there's different methods to reeling it in. Now, one thing that's quite successful with these jigs is called lift and drop. And what you do is that you lift the line up, and then you reel in, and then it lifts the bait off the bottom and then drops it back down. Now you know you're doing it successfully because you will start getting a lift and drop icon down the bottom there. Come on, don't make a liar at me. It's not doing it, is it? Some days I get this right first time every time, and some days it just doesn't. There we go, lift and drop. So by lifting the rod up and then dropping it back down, and then reeling in the tension, you get a lift and drop kind of type of lure movement, and then you get three spots next to it, which shows you how successfully you're doing that lift and drop. So 3 is spot on, which means that you're doing the lift and drop perfectly. 2, which means that you're doing it okay, and then 1, which means that actually you're doing a really shit job of it, and then none, which means that you're not kind of doing it at all. Now, as you can see there, you've also got straight and slow, which is just kind of luring in the bait slowly. And again, that can attract certain different types of fish and things like that. And then with straight and slow, if you flick the rod and then start reeling, if you do it right, in fact I'm running out of line length here, so it's not going to do it, you can get twitching, which is another different type of kind of lure. And the ones I've found so far is lift and drop, twitch, stop and go, straight, straight and slow there, of course. I think I already said that one. So let's do stop and go, because I like stop and go, because it's quite an easy one to do. So with this, you just kind of reel in and then let like stop until it goes down again, and then reel in and then stop. That's quite an easy one to do. So you set it to a high speed, reel in until it starts taking up the tension on the line, and then stop, so it lifts the bait up off the bottom. You then stop and it starts going back down again. And I find that's quite good for pike as well. Pike seem to go for stop and go, whereas bass seem to go more for lift and drop, and also twitching. So we'll give this a go here, and then we'll see if we get any sort of bites. I don't think that we're going to have a very successful day today. Slight pause there. In fact, I have heard of a bug in this that sometimes... Whoops! Oh, we got something. There we go. So we got a young largemouth bass. So he's quite small. He's only 0.8 of a pound. Again, the common is about £2, and trophy is between £3 and £4 with bass. So I'm not really going to get much for him cash wise, but you keep the experience when you caught him. So we're just going to release him and let him become a big fish later on. So what we'll do is that we'll cast out again there, and then we'll see if we can't catch something a bit bigger. So what we might try doing here is just a bit more lift and drop, see if we can get this working this time. Oh, we got something. And this one seems a bit bigger actually. We're getting, yep, we're starting to get some real tension and line tension there. So, oh, he's jumping. Now jumping is quite dangerous because it releases all of the tension on the line when they jump. And then when they jump, there's a danger that they could slip the hook out of their mouth. In fact, so he's a little bit bigger. He's just under a pound, 11 inches, just slightly bigger, slightly fatter, but we'll let him go as well. So we'll know that we're starting to catch them over there, so we'll cast it again and hope this time that we get something a bit bigger. But what we could also start doing is changing our spoon type or lure type, and seeing if we can use a different type of lure to maybe try and catch some bigger fish. But if you do start kind of getting bites with a certain type of lure, then you know the chances are that eventually something bigger is going to start taking hold of it. Oh, I got another one there. I think this is just a little guy as well. He's not putting much pressure on the line here, as he says. There we go. Oh, big pause there, big pause. So here he comes, you can just see him under the water there. I think there's another little one. Yep, just another 0.8 young largemouth bass. So that's 3s, but we'll let him go anyway. I want to keep it for some bigger fish. And we'll put that there, and then we'll try it one more time. If I don't get anything bigger this time, I might change the lure type to something a bit bigger and see if we can't attract some bigger bass. Because the fly I'm using here, I think is a mini bass, which is a smaller bass, so it attracts generally smaller fish. But with this line as well, I've only got I think it was a £3 test, so the bigger bass could start putting a bit of pressure on my line there. Come on, give me some lift and drop here, man. I don't want straight and slow, I want lift and drop. Only 20 feet to go. I don't think that we're going to get anything this time around. Now, occasionally I have been pulling in the line. I've actually seen a bass kind of following the lure all the way in almost, and then you'll just see them like scoot off as you're reeling it in. I don't think there's anything down there now, so I'll just bring that up and in. And then what we might do is change our lure over. So if we go to our lures here, I've got different types of spoons and different types of jigs. In fact, you know what I didn't do? Yeah, I've got a big bass jig there, so we'll load up a big bass jig with a 1.0 hook, which is still pretty sizable, because that last jig had a size 2 hook on, so this one's a little bit bigger. and then we'll see if we can't catch something with this. And I might go for a bit of stop and go with this lure. All I'm hearing right now is flies buzzing around my house. Again, I much prefer kind of fishing on sunny days, because I do kind of get much more success with the lures on sunny days. Yeah, I mean we've had some catches here. And what I'm doing really is just kind of keeping an eye on the end of the rod there, just to see if it starts, if the line starts skewing off in any different directions. I want to get it close to those reeds, but I don't want to put it into the reeds, because if I put it into the reeds, then you start getting snags, and then there's a chance that you can lose your lure. Come on, start giving me some lift and drop here. Again, getting some slowly straight, but trying to get some lift and drop, but it's not working the way I want it to. It's a bit of an art using a lure properly, it really is. And now it starts giving me lift and drops. But only 20 feet to go. Change position slightly over so I can keep dragging it in there. Again, you do lift and drop, trying to get it off the bottom there, but just seems more interesting than giving me straight and slow. Oh, there we go. That's some lift and drop there. Again, it's just trying to get it off the bottom and up. Ooh, I've got something out. Here we go. Ooh, this guy's a bit bigger. In fact, I might need to let my brake off there because he's starting to put a lot of tension on my reel. So there we go. With the brake off, as you can see, he's able to take much more line. Oh, and he's jumping there. Oops, big pause. I don't know if that's because I'm recording. I don't usually get pauses that big, but big pause. What the hell is going on here? Whoops. No. Come on. There we go. Don't want to lose the fish. That was a big pause. I've never had a pause that big before. Come on, pull him in. So what I'm going to do there is start pulling the rod in and then reeling in the line. So pulling in the rod and then reeling in the line. In fact, I bet anything that my computer started doing some kind of stupid update. That's why it's starting to do this. Come on, you fucker. This is a big fish, man. He's probably fighting this. What we got there? Yeah, there we go. So that's more of a bass. That's a 1.9 or nearly 2 pound largemouth bass. So there you go. It can be done with the right lure and in the right circumstances. So I'm going to keep him because he's a nice boy and he'll get me lots of cash. So if we actually bring up to our caught fish, as you can see there, I get a reward of 13 credits and 11 experience for that largemouth bass. So what I might actually do now is switch it up to my my casting rod, which I've got a jig and lure on. Now, I've only just kind of got these different types of lures. This is an octopus or a squid lure, so I'm not kind of sure what I'm going to be able to achieve with this, but I'm going to give that a go. That's a long cast. let's see what goes on with this. Now I'm going to try, I might try stop and go with this, because I'm not sure what's going to work best with this lure. So we'll try stop and go, and we'll see what we get there. Now these normally work best for pike. Now on this side of the lake, or this side of the river, you get grass pickerel, which is a small type of pike. But up on the other end there you get chain pickerel, which is like a large pike, and some of those can be quite beefy as well. So we might head over that way in a little bit. So I'm just trying stop and go here with this octopus, just to see if we can get anything here. But this is the first time I've used this lure. I only just bought it this morning. So yeah, I'm yet to see kind of how successful it is with bass, or if bass will even be interested in it, or if pike could be interested in it. I'm going to keep fishing in these reeds here, because I know that there are bass around there. But you can also fish across the lake and bring it through the middle, but again, that can be a bit more hit and miss there as well. Now with this I've got a much thicker line on it and a much better reel. There we go, get some good stop and go there. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we start getting something. Ooh. Wait. What was that? The line went off on a little bit of a skew there, which often means that something's had a bit of interest in it. Nope, nothing. In fact, let's. I might change this up to a spoon. We'll go for a casting spoon. There we go. Now I like this spoon. This spoon's has been quite successful for me, so I'll give this a go. Because I know that bass like this spoon. And this is on a one hook as well, which is fairly big. In fact, I might just up the speed there on the stop and go. Ah, fish on, there you go. See, I knew they'd love this spoon. Ooh, it's another big boy, I think. Oh, yeah, there's some size on this guy. Come on. He's jumping. Oh, no. See, now he jumped. It released the tension on the line, and then he let go of the hook. Oh, man, I hate it when it happens. I really do. So I'll just bring me lure in there. So that was a nice big fish there, but he did a jump, and because I didn't get the tension back on the line fast enough, he let it go, and then the fish got away. Yeah, that's it's another one of those kind of things that I just love about this game, is that sort of like little attention to detail. That the fish does like a jump and loop in order to escape the lure and the line he's on, and boom, he's gone. You know, and if you don't react to it fast enough, you lose your fish. Which is dang interesting. I love that. Ooh. Ah, no, a fish did take it there. I saw it skewering off, but because I didn't pull the line, he let go of it. I think there might have been a bit of a... Yeah, there we go, another nibble. Don't think this guy's quite as big. No, this guy's not as big. He's jumping. I think this guy's a bit smaller. Yeah, there's no tension on the line. Yeah, young guy, only 8, so we'll let you go, son. You go get bigger, and then we'll catch you later on. So we're getting some success here, so I'll cast out again. I might try, see if we can get one more big bass here, and then we might move to the other side of the river and then try and get some pike. Ah, straight on. Oh, and this guy is much, much bigger. I think we've got about a 2-pounder here. He's jumping, he's putting some tension on that line. Come on, you bastard. Switch directions. He's jumping. Come on. I think that's about 2 pounds. Yeah, 1.7. Yeah, 1.7. Good fish there, so we'll keep him. So again, that was quite successful. So what we'll do is that if we hit M, we can take a walk up the other side of the river here, and then we'll start fishing for some pike. Right, so here we go. This is where the pike live, on this side of the river, and there's also bass around here as well. Now now one thing, if you look down there, there's quite some reeds there which cause a hell of a lot of snags, so I like staying away from those. So I generally kind of cast down in this direction from here, and using this spoon as well as some of the other lures and baits, I often kind of have good luck catching chain pike, which are pretty damn sizable. So we'll do some more stop and go down here, because I know that works for pike. And then we'll see if we can get something something big. Not snag, but we'll manage to get that out there quite easy, so that's good. Again, where there's reeds underneath or grass, then there is a very good chance of getting snags, but that's also where the pike live. Yeah, got him out there, that's fine. So using stop and go and keeping it on the base, there's a good chance of getting a pike, but as you can see there, there's a good chance of losing your bloody bait as well. So nothing that time. I'll give that another go. Might actually try some twitching. There we go. So with twitching, you drag it in straight and slow, and then you just like give the rod a flick, and it causes your bait to twitch. And as you can see, you get a twitching rating there. Now, it's something I'm not the best at, so I generally only get like 1 or 2 rather than 3, but it you know, it attracts the fish. Try dragging in a bit slower and twitching. Just on the bottom. Let's try a different spoon. Right, switch it up to the red and silver one. This is normally for brighter days, but we'll give it a go. And we'll go back to stop and go. Something there. Pike don't seem to want to be biting today, which is unfortunate, because I was doing this last night and I was catching pike back to back along here, but they don't seem to be wanting to bite today. I think we'll give this one more go, and then we might bring this to an end, because yeah. someone take the bait. I guess with it not being a sunny day, maybe they can't see it, or it's or maybe they're just not hungry. But either way, not getting many bites on this end, which is a shame because usually I get some good pike along here. Right. Anyways, not catching anything at the moment, which really sucks. So rather than keeping you guys kind of hanging on and waiting and probably kind of bored to tears, I'm going to keep fishing because I really enjoy this. I might, if I get a good snag, I might start this up again and edit that in. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. This is Fishing Planet, and this is a free game, and I honestly can't believe how much kind of fun I've been having with this. I know some people I might watch this just kind of be thinking, what, really, you know? But yeah, I enjoy this. So I'll say thank you very much. This is Smudge, and we'll see you next time. Hey guys, so what follows here is just a quick catch compilation, doing some pike fishing. This is not long after I'd kind of finished recording that video. I moved slightly further up the river and started kind of fishing for pike, and had a pretty good run. Now, when I was making that video, I was a bit kind of disappointed that I wasn't able to kind of get any catfish, and the first part of it seemed a bit boring, but this part here is just literally over the course of about maybe 30 minutes to an hour of actual gameplay, and it was yeah, I was quite consistently pulling out some nice pike, and then at the end there I end up pulling a really nice kind of trophy pike, which I was pretty chuffed with. So I just thought I'd kind of tack this on to the end to you, so that you can see that it is actually possible to catch fish in this game. And if you have a look up in the time indexes in the top left hand corner, you can see that all of this was on the same day, roughly about the same sort of time, or within like an hour of each other, you know. So yeah, I had a pretty good little session there. So I'm going to shut up and just let you enjoy these last few catches, and we'll see you next time.